Hey guys, my name is Suhas Kumari, and today we're going to talk about why capitalism is morally right and is economically correct and efficient. Okay, so for most of human history, especially the past 99 years, majority of humans, especially 99% of them, were in destitute poverty. But over the past 250 years, everyone or most people have grown wealthier, they have more stuff. They are also happier. They're living longer. They have access to toilets. They have access to computers, new technologies, new cars. They have access to new medicines. Now, what is the reason for those innovations? It's not what the socialists like Bernie Sanders call the radical redistribution of wealth. It's obviously not. It's not government that does it. It's obviously free people. It's a free market. It's the entrepreneurs and free enterprise that does it. According to this graph, which is from worldbank.org, the poverty rate since 1800 has been declining rapidly. This is what led to the human innovation in like the biggest human innovation in human history, because entrepreneurs were allowed to create jobs. They were allowed to create products and services, and using those products and services they were allowed to lower the cost because they had competition from other businesses. This is what allowed poor people to be lifted out of poverty. Jobs, right? And wages were risen through the free market because businesses had to compete for the best workers. That's what allows the free market to grow. That's what allows workers' wages to be brought up, because in order for a business to compete in the marketplace, they have to attract good workers, and to attract good workers, they must provide them with good wages. That is why today 98% of Americans make more than the minimum wage. That is why today you don't see neurosurgeons making $7.25, or even engineers, or even most of the McDonald's workers. They still make more than $7.25. That is why you see better working conditions, and you don't see, you don't see people working in sweatshops anymore, because businesses over time had to improve working conditions and wages of workers to attract workers. That is how productivity increases and worker satisfaction increase. It's not because of unions. Unions have contributed somewhat to this, but it's really the entrepreneurs that created these businesses and jobs, and then the free market allowed competition to increase wages and have better working conditions. This is also why you have the cell phone, and you have poor people today have cell phones. I'm talking about in the United States, by the way, not in the rest of the world. That's why poor people today have cell phones. They have computers. They have access to good healthcare, even if not insurance. They still have healthcare. They might also have TVs. They might have cars. Now, many people say, "Okay, that's great," but those aren't really the things that we need. We need education and healthcare. True, but most of everything, everything in our life has gotten cheaper, faster, and better, except education and healthcare. Why? Because they are highly regulated by the government. If you want to look, if you really want to look at education, the government has established monopolies. They have established monopolies, which means that the public education has no competition. Think about your iPhone. The reason why the iPhone keeps getting better, and the reason why Apple keeps selling it, is because they have to compete with Samsung and LG and other phone companies. But if you want to say public education or government education, where did they have to compete with? And yet they spend more money than private schools. According to the Federal Department of Education, it spends $12,500 per year per student on education. The average private school tuition is only $8,500. The reason why is the private sector actually has an incentive to make you feel happy. They have an incentive to make you feel better. So that is why we need school vouchers. So the government can give that $12,500 back to every family, every student, and so that student or that parent can pick which school he or she can go to. They can use that $12,500 to go to a private school, a charter school or a public school if they choose, or a Christian, Catholic, or they can be homeschooled. Healthcare, meanwhile, we need to privatize healthcare and have capitalism take care of it, because capitalism is what will bring us a cure for cancer. Capitalism is what will bring us the cure for Alzheimer's. And capitalism is not only good because it's the economically efficient way, and that is why the global poverty rate over the past 25 years have dropped in half. Capitalism is also a moral system. It's a moral system. Capitalism is saying that if I don't give you something that you like, and if you don't give me something that I like, then we're not going to survive. But you have to give something to someone else in order for you to survive. That and another person has to give something to you. But socialism is saying, I'm going to put a gun up to your head and I'm going to get free stuff from you just because, we all object to stealing, right? Stealing is wrong. Whenever, let's just say, a poor person wants to feed his family, and if he puts up a gun to a rich person's head, we say it's okay, but all of a sudden, we say it's wrong, but whenever the government does it, it's all right. That's not right. That's just not morally right. And it doesn't work either, because if you look at the poverty rate since Lyndon B. Johnson started, the welfare state that LBJ started in 1964, our poverty rate hasn't moved a bit because of this welfare state disincentivizing work, disincentivizing taking opportunities, and instead kept people lazy. So this is why capitalism is right. And if you look at the GDP per capita in countries that practice capitalism, they've gone really high. For example, United States is at the top of the list with highest GDP per capita. Look who's on the bottom. So the United States, look who's on the bottom. China. Does it practice capitalism? No. Now, and actually, since it's taken economic reforms in 1980, it's growing up a bit. But before that, this GDP per capita was way down there. And also, not only that, you also have innovation in healthcare as well. Healthcare is one of the most important values we have in life, okay? It really is. But healthcare and education, they're run by the government. And if you want a better healthcare system, you have to have a capitalist healthcare system. If you want better wages, you have to have a capitalist healthcare system where businesses compete for workers, and so they have to provide them with better wages. This is why in Singapore, the average GDP per capita in 1960 was $400, but today it's 52,000. They have no minimum wage, they have no labor laws, they have a very minimal government. And you know why the wages rose so much? It's because businesses had to compete. As workers' productivity rose, capital rose, productivity rose, more stuff got created, and more wealth got created. This is what lifted humankind out of poverty. The problem with socialism is that it just redistributes the wealth you already have, and it doesn't create any new wealth. This is the main problem with socialism. That is why capitalism is moral, it's economically right. I see it happen in my home country, India, where it's lifting people out of poverty every day. Free enterprise is the way to go. Liberty is the way to go, not equality. Forced equality is wrong. Forced equality is just wrong because you're putting a gun up to somebody's head. You're not allowing people to pursue their own ambitions in life, pursue their own happiness. That's wherever an individual pursues their own happiness, if they want something, they must give something. And that's what I call morally right.